Good morning, dear students. I am Professor Janissa, hereby presenting one more video of Business Law, Consumer Protection Act 1986. Through this video, you will be able to get the rights of consumer rights versus responsibilities, definitions, consumer protection councils, redressal machinery under Consumer Protection Act 1986, powers of the redressal agencies. Let us go with the first. Rights of consumer. So, as far as this act is concerned, it has been generated so that to save the different rights of the consumer. Let's say with the basic rights. First, rights of right to safety. It means right to be protected against the marketing of goods and services which are hazardous to life and property. The purchased goods and services availed of should not only meet their immediate needs but also fulfill long-term interests. Means whatever products and services are being marketed and supplied, they must get the fulfillment of the long-term products also, long-term requisitions of the consumers also. It is not only the considered manner for short-term duration only. Second, right to choose. It means wherever possible of access to variety of goods and services at competitive price, the consumer must get enough right to get the selection of the product. They must have the acquisition right to get the selection of the product and services for the consumption. It is not like that they will be entrusted to select even certain product. Third, right to be informed means right to be informed about the quality, quantity, potency, purity. So each and every factor of the product and services must be acknowledged and informed to the consumers. It must be there in the acknowledgement of the consumer while consuming the product or services. Right to consumer education means they must provide requisition knowledge and skills in the terms in the sense of how to make the utilization of the product, how the product can be survived for the longer duration of time, how the product can be utilized, etc. So ignorance of consumers, particularly of rural consumers, is mainly responsible for their exploitations. Means the lacking of the information generate the exploitation of the consumers. Right to be heard. It means consumers' interest will receive due consideration at appropriate forums. It also includes right to be representative in various forums formed to consider the consumers' welfare. Means they have right to make the presentation of their exploited matter. Right to seek redressal. It means right to seek redressal against unfair trade practices. So likewise, any organization is maintaining unfair trade practices, then in such case consumers have equal rights to seek redress against that services organization or company in the redressal agencies. So these were the basic rights. Next, consumer rights versus responsibilities. So as if we have been gone through in the rights to be heard. Against that, they have responsibility that they have to ensure that the company has provided you the contact detail of the consumer's grievance handling systems and are easily accessible. Means it is their responsibility that whether the company has provided certain contact details, certain communication details, so that to have the redressal agencies for the consumers. And along with that, avoid purchase of product or services from a company which do not provide details of the consumer grievance officers to handle consumer grievance. Means if it is possible, the consumer should avoid to consume the product or services from such agencies or such companies who is not provided certain type of details of consumer redressal. Second right is right to redress. Against that, responsibilities ignoring the loss suffered on purchase of defective goods and services, are not filing complaint encourages the corrupt businessman to supply. Means it is their own responsibility to file a complaint against such agency or such company who has provided certain inferior qualitative product or services. After that, right to safety. It is their own right. Against that, while purchasing the goods of or services, consumer must look for standard quality mark. So it's their own responsibility that on the product, the marking, likewise ISI marking, EG mark for the respective products or services, FSS mark. So it's their own responsibilities whether such marking is been availed or not, so that to get verified over there. Next, right to consumer education or right to be informed. It is their own right. Against that, what is the responsibility? Do not get carried away by advertisement. Means they should not believe only and only advertisement, or whatsoever is reflected over the advertisement should not be blindly believed. Consumer must insist on getting complete information on the quality, quantity, unity, price, etc., utility price, etc. So each and every information they must get informed, they must get insist of, and ask for complete contact details. So they have to ask for complete contact details of the company. So if they have any problem, then what should the reason, or what should be the conclusive manner. After that, they have right to choose. Against that, they have responsibility of access the information available on various alternatives available for the product and services under purchase consideration, compare specification, competition, and fair prices of the goods and services before finalizing of on the purchase, and study various feedback receives of the product or services. Then right to consumer education. So they have right. Against that, what is the responsibility? As if we have been gone through in the above, it is the same, so it has been repetitive. Now, important, let us go with the definitions, different definitions which has been availed over here. First is appropriate laboratory. It means laboratory or organization which is recognized by the central government, which is recognized by a state government, subject to such guidelines as may be prescribed by the central government in this behalf, or any such laboratory or organization established by or under any law for the time being in force, which is maintained. So it is known as appropriate laboratory. Now, complaint. What do you mean by complaint? Complaint means a consumer or any voluntary consumer association registered under the Companies Act 1956, or now it is 2013, or under any law of the time being in force, or the central government or any state government, one or more consumers where there are numerous consumers having the same interest. In case of death of a consumer, his legal heir or representative who or which makes a complaint. So they are known as complainant. Complainant means the person who is going to make a complaint. Now, person under the definition of Consumer Act may be, as if I explained, consumer, the representative of the consumer, voluntary consumer association, central government or any state government, one or more consumer where the numerous consumers having the same interest, and in case of death of consumer, his legal heir or representative who or which makes a complaint. So they are known as complainant. So in general, complainant means the person who is going to make a complaint against the company under the Consumer Protection Act. Now, complaint. What do you mean by complaint? It means that an unfair trade practice or a representative or restrictive trade practice has been adopted by any trader or services provider. So, complaint means any allegation in writing made by a complainant that an unfair trade practice or a restrictive trade practice has been adopted by any trader or service provider. Second, the goods purchased by him or agreed to be bought by him suffer from one or more defects, maybe likewise of quality defect, maybe likewise of it is not as per the quantity or packing, etc., not as per the samples. Third, the services hired or availed of or agreed to be hired or availed of by him suffer from deficiency in any respect. A trader or service provider, as the case may be, has charged for the goods or for the services mentioned in the complaint and his price is excess of the price. Likewise, they are been charging for more than MRP. Now, excess in the price means fixed by or under any law for the time being in force. Likewise, in the last year, the price of the RT-PCR test was restricted up to certain amount by the central government and state government on renounced priced. So it is like that. So if any institution is charging more than such price, they are being covered under this title. Displayed on the goods or any package containing such goods displayed on the price list exhibited by him by or under any law for the time being in force agreed between the parties. So they are been concluded under the title of exceeds of price. Then goods which will be hazardous to life and safety when used or being offered for sale to the public in contravention of any standard relating to safety of such goods as required to be complied with by or under any law for the time being in force. If trader could have known with due diligence that the goods so offered are unsafe to the public. And last, services which are hazardous or likely to be hazardous to life and safety of the public when used are being offered by the service provider, which such person could have known with due diligence to be injurious to life and safety. So this title are being covered under the complaint. In general phenomena, it can be said that the product or service which has been offered, if it is not in accordance with the advertisement, if it is not in accordance with the reflection, if the price is not in accordance with the reflection or MRP or as compared to the maximum price decided by the government, whether it is of state government or central government, so they are been included under this title. Now the definition of consumer. Consumer means any person who buys any goods for a consideration which has been paid or promised or partly paid and partly promised. Means the person who is purchasing the product, it is not here the definition of economics is not going to take into consideration. Consumer means the person who has purchased the product, who has against the consideration, or the person who is going to pay the consideration in future or promise to pay or half means partly pay, partly unpaid. Second, hires or avails of any services for a consideration which has been paid or promised, means the person has utilized the service against which the person had made a promise that the person is going to pay the consideration in future. Likewise, here the example is also been available. For the purpose of this clauses, commercial purpose does not include use by a person of goods bought and used by him and services availed by him exclusively for the purpose of earning his livelihood by means of self-employment. It is not included over here. So that is what is about the mean of consumer. Now, consumer dispute. It means a dispute where the person against whom a complaint has been made denies or disputes the allegation contained in the complaint. Means if both the parties are not, or either of the parties are not fulfilling the terms and conditions which they have decided or which has been pre-decided, so they are known as consumer, it is known as, so whatever dispute has been generated, it is known as consumer dispute. Then goods means goods as defined in the Sale of Goods Act 1930. Manufacturer means a person who makes or manufactures any goods or part thereof, or does not make or manufacture any goods but assemble parts thereof made or manufactured by others, or puts or causes to be put his own mark. Likewise, HUL is making like that. In first, makes a manufacturing, likewise pharmaceutical company. Second, does not make a manufacturer any goods but assemble part, means automobile industry. Third, puts or causes to be put his own mark, likewise Hindustan Unilever. Next, service. It means services of any description which is made available to potential users and includes but not limited to the provisions of the facility in connection with banking, financing, insurance, transport, processing, supply of electrical or other energy, board or logging or both, housing, construction, entertainment. So these are been included in services. Spurious goods and services means such goods and services which are claimed to be genuine but they are actually not so. Next, unfair trade practice. It means a trade practice which, for the purpose of promoting the sale, use or supply of any goods, or for the provision of any service, adopts any unfair method or unfair of or deceptive practice, include any of the following practices, namely the practice of making any statement whether orally or in writing or by visible representation which falsely represent that the goods are of a particular standard, quality, quantity, grade, composition, style or model, etc. Falsely represents that the services are of a particular standard, quality or grade. Falsely represent that they are, means any rebuilt, second hand, renovated, reconditioned or old goods as new goods. So likewise, whatsoever false representations has been made by the producer, by the seller, likewise they have purchased the product from old goods market, and now they are been making modification, and after making the modification, if they are been reflecting that they have been generated as a new, and it has not been reused purchase or reused product, it is the matter of unfair trade practices. Represent that the goods or services have sponsorship, approval, performance, characteristics, accessories, uses or benefits which such goods or services do not have. Represents that the seller or the supplier has a sponsorship or approval or affiliation which such seller or supplier does not have. Makes a false or misleading representation concerning the need for or the usefulness of any goods or services. Gives to the public any warranty or guarantee of the performance, efficiency or length of life of a product or any goods that is not based on an adequate proper test thereof. So they are been considered under this unfair trade practices definition. Defect. Defect means any fault, imperfection or shortcoming in the quality, quantity, potency, purity or standard which is required to be maintained by or under any law for the time being, enforced under any contract express or implied, or as it claimed by the trader in any manner whatsoever in relation to any goods. So in general manner, defect means whatsoever product is supplied or provided by the seller or manufacturer, if it is not in accordance with the standard, if it is not in accordance with the corrective consumption manner, then they are been considered as the defect in the goods. Deficiency, that means any fault, imperfection, shortcoming, or inadequacy in the quality, nature, and manner of performance, means they are not being proper so that to get performed in different manner which has been prescribed, which is required to be maintained by or under any law for the time being enforced or has been undertaken to be performed by a person in pursuance of a contract or otherwise in relation to any service. Consumer Protection Council. The Consumer Protection Act 1986 provides better protection to the interest of consumers. To achieve the objective of the Act, central and state protection councils are performed under the Act. Such councils helps the consumers and act in the interest of consumers. The Consumer Protection Council set up at a national and state level. Section 6 of the Consumer Protection Act. Now let us go with the objects of the councils as per the Act. So the object is protection from marketing hazardous goods and services, inform about the quality, standard, quantity, potency, purity, standard and price of goods and services, as to protect the consumer against unfair trade practices, access to a variety of goods and also services at competitive prices, the right to heard, to be assured that consumers' interests receives due consideration, the right to seek redressal agencies unfair trade practices or also restrictive trade practices or also unscrupulous exploitation of consumers, and the right to consumer education. So these are the matters for which the consumer protection councils have been generated. Now top council, that is of Central Protection Council. So the Consumer Protection Act gives the powers to the central government to establish a Central Consumer Protection Council. It consists of a chairman and such number of officials and also non-official members. The chairman of council is minister in charge of central government. Under the Consumer Protection Council rules 1987, the membership of the central or the council is restricted to 150 members. Such 150 members includes the central minister in charge of consumer affairs as the chairman. The term of the council is 3 years. So in every 3 years they are keep changing the members. The central government may also constitute a standing working group for from members of council to monitor the implementation of the recommendations of the council, and the council shall at least meet once in a year. So that is what is about the Central Protection Council. Second layer, State Consumer Protection Council. The Consumer Protection Act gives the powers to the state government to establish a State Consumer Protection Council. It consists of a chairman and such number of official and also non-official and also members, 10 nominees of the central government. The chairman of council is minister in charge of state government. As if in central council, central government minister will be there. In state council, state government minister will be there. The state council shall at least meet once in a year. Likewise in the central. District Consumer Protection Council. In order to promote and protect the rights of the consumers within the district, the Consumer Protection Act provides for the establishment of a District Consumer Protection Council in every district. So first layer central, then state, then district. It shall consist chairman and also such member or number of other official and also non-official members representing such interests of consumer. It shall at least meet once in a year. The chairman shall decide the time and place of the meeting. Here the comparison is provided: district level, state commission and national commission. Some members, president and 2 members. In state commission also president and 2 members, but in national commission president and 4 members. Now, who can be the president? So, in district level, a working or retired judge of district court. In state commission, a working or retired judge of high court. And in national commission, a working or retired judge of Supreme Court. So, appointment of president. The president is appointed by the state government on the recommendation of the selection committee in district. The president is appointed by the state government after consulting with the Chief Justice of the High Court in State Commission, whereas in National Commission, the president is appointed by the central government after consulting with the Chief Justice of India. Now, let us go with the jurisdiction. In district, in 1986, it had jurisdiction to entertain complaints where the value of the goods or services does not exceed rupees 5 lakh. In state commission, the amount must be in between 5 lakhs to 20 lakhs. In central commission, more than 20 lakh. So these are the limitation jurisdictions for consumer protection. Appeal against order. If any person who is aggrieved by the order of district forum can appeal against such order to state commission within 30 days and by depositing rupees 25,000 or 50% of the penalty amount, whichever is less. In state commission, any person who is aggrieved by the order of state commission can appeal against such order to national commission within 30 days by depositing rupees 35,000 or 50% penalty amount, whichever is less. In national commission, any person who is aggrieved by the order of the national commission can appeal against such order to Supreme Court within 30 days and by depositing 50% of penalty amount, but only cases where value of goods or services exceeds rupees 1 crore. Only they can be filed in Supreme Court. Next, redressal machinery under Consumer Protection Act 1986. First is district forum. Now, how it is constituted? Each district forum shall consist of a person who is or has been or is qualified to be a district judge, means this is the qualification, who shall be its president. Two other members who shall be persons of ability, integrity and standing, and who have adequate knowledge or experience of or have shown capacity in dealing with problems relating to law, commerce, economics, accountancy, industry, public administration, one of whom shall be a woman, that is condition. Now, how the appointment will be made? Every appointment shall be made by the state government on the recommendation of a selection committee consisting of the following, namely, the president of the state commission, that is chairman, secretary, law department of the state member, secretary in charge of the department dealing with consumer affairs in the state member. Now, membership. Every member of the district forum shall hold office for a period of 5 years or up to the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. Member can be reappointed for another period of 5 years or up to the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier, subject to the condition that he fulfills the qualification, and such reappointment is made on recommendation of selection committee only. Registration. A member may resign from his office in writing under his hand, addressed to the state government. On such a resignation being accepted, his office shall become vacant or his place is becoming vacant. The vacancy so caused may be filled by an appointment of a person possessing the qualifications mentioned above in relation to the category. So, means whatsoever person may resign in place or in the vacant seat of that person, the reappointment of any person who has been holding such quality will be applied for. Terms and conditions of the service, the remuneration and other allowances payable to, and the other terms and conditions of service of the members of the district forum shall be such as may be prescribed by the state government. Jurisdictions. Again, under section 11 deals with the judicial power of district, which is divided in two types. First is precautionary jurisdiction. Section 11(1) states that the district forum is empowered to accept the suits or complaints up to rupees 20 lakhs as per the price of the goods or services, or in defective goods or services supplied by the trade, the limit of claim shall not be more than rupees 5 lakh. Second, territorial jurisdictions. When there are more than one opposite parties existing at the same time, any of the party from them doing business or having a branch of business, the district forum can exercise its territorial jurisdiction on the district forum, shall have local jurisdictions where at the time existence of complaint, opposite party or defendant is doing his business or having branch of it. Now, powers of district forum. The district forum shall have the same powers as are vested in the civil court under the Code of Civil Procedure 1908 while trying a suit in respect of the following matters, namely, first, the summoning this and enforcing attendance of any defendant or witness and examining witness on oath, the discovery and production of any document or other materials object production as evidence, the reception of evidence on affidavits, the requisitioning of the reports of the concerned analysis or test from the appropriate laboratory, as if we have been gone through the definitions of appropriate laboratory, or from any other relevant source, issuing the any commission for the examination of any witness and other matter which may be prescribed. So these are the various powers of the district forum. Now, second, State Consumer Redressal Commission. So, composition of the State Commission under Section 16 of the Consumer Protection Act 1986. Each State Commission shall consist of one president and two or more other members. The president shall be a person who is or has been a judge of a high court appointed by the state government. His appointment should be made in consultation with the Chief Justice of High Court. In the terms of members, in the State Commission there should be not less than two and not more than such number of members as may be prescribed, and one of whom shall be a woman. President of the state chairman will be the chairman. Secretary of the law department of the state will be the member. Secretary in charge of a department dealing in consumer affairs in the state member. This will be the inclusive manner. Now, state disqualification of members. Section 16 subsection 1. A new provision has been made to section 16 subsection 1 by the Consumer Protection Amendment Act 2002. They are as following: the person has been convicted and sentenced to imprisonment for an offence which, in the opinion of state government, involves moral turpitude, or is an undischarged insolvent, or is of unsound mind and stands so declared by a competent court, or has been removed or dismissed from the service of the government or a body corporate owned or controlled by the government, or has, in the opinion of the state government, such financial or other interest as it likely to affect prejudicially the discharge by him of his functions as a member, or has such other disqualification as may be prescribed by the state government. So these are the disqualification qualities. Terms and conditions. Section 16 subsection 3. Every member of the state commission shall hold office for a term of 5 years. That is the, as if we have been gone through in the first, 5 years or minimum at the age of 67. In first it was 65 years, here it is 67 years, whichever is earlier, provided that a member shall be eligible for reappointment for another term of 5 years or up to age of 67 years. So the same conditions are there as if like first council, only the terms will be changed from 65 years to 67 years. That's it. Jurisdiction of the State Commission. Subject to the other provision of this Act, the State Commission shall have jurisdiction Precautionary jurisdiction complains when the value of the goods, services and complainants if any claimed exceeds rupees 20 lakhs but does not exceed rupees 1 crore. As if we have been gone through with the comparison between 20 lakhs to 1 crore, it will be the jurisdiction of the State Commission. By the Consumer Protection Amendment Act 2002, the jurisdiction of the State Commission has been increased to rupees 1 crore. The change is likely to be beneficial to the consumer. It will reduce the number of complaints to the National Commission. Why the amount has been increased from 20 lakhs to 1 crore? Because it will reduce the burden on Central Consumer Council. That is the only reason. A complaint shall be instituted in a state commission within the limits of whose jurisdiction. That means the opposite party or each of the opposite parties where there are more than one at the time of the institution of the complaint actually and voluntarily resides or carries on business or has a branch office or personally works for gain or any other or any of the opposite parties where there are more than one at the branch office or personally works for gain. So these are the constitutional manner of jurisdiction of State Commission. Last, National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. So first was territorial, second was state, third is National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. So how it has been constituted? So as per the constitution, the section 20 of the Consumer Protection Act, the National Commission shall consist of a person who is or has been a judge of Supreme Court to be appointed by the central government for 4 other members who shall be person of ability, integrity and have good knowledge or experience of or have shown capacity in dealing with problems relating to economics, law, accountancy, public administration, etc. One of the members shall be a woman. Members, a person who is judge of Supreme Court to be appointed by the Chief Justice of India, that is chairman. He will be the chairman. The person will be the chairman. The secretary in the Department of Legal Affairs in the Government of India will be the member. Again, the second member will be secretary of the department dealing with consumer affairs, Government of India. So these are the memberships. Basic terms and conditions. The salary and the other allowances payable to the other terms and conditions of services of the members of the National Commission shall be prescribed by the state government. Every member, here it will be the central government. Every member of the National Council shall hold office for a term of 5 years, as if we have been gone through in the first two. So minimum duration means office period, office duration will be of 5 years. But they can be reappointed for another 5 years. In first, till the age of 65 years. In second, till the age of 67 years. In this, till the age of 70 years. So he can be reappointed for another 5 years, or the age resides up to 70 years, whichever is earlier. Now what is the jurisdictions? So as per section 21, object of the National Commission, the National Commission shall have jurisdiction to entertain complaints where the value of the goods or services, any compensation if any, claimed exceeds rupees 1 crore, and appeals against the orders of any state commission, and to call for the records and pass appropriate orders in any consumer dispute which is pending before or has been decided by any state government or any state commission, where it appears to the National Commission that such a state commission has exercised a jurisdiction not vested in it by law, or has failed to exercise a jurisdiction so vested, or has acted in exercise of its jurisdiction illegally or with material irregularly. So that is the matter of jurisdiction of Central Consumer Council, Protection Council. Now last title, powers to the redressal agencies. So, what are the powers under section 13(4)? Under section 13 subsection 4 of the Consumer Protection Act 1986, they are been associated over here. The forum are vested with the civil court powers with respect to the following: first, summoning and enforcing the attendance of any defendant or witness and examining the witness on oath; discovery and production of any document or other material object producible as evidence; receiving of evidence on affidavits; requisitioning of the reports of the concerned analysis or test from the appropriate laboratory or from any other relevant source; issuing of any commission for the examination of any witness, and any other matter which may be prescribed. So that is all, dear students. That is all from me as far as Consumer Act 1986 is concerned. Thank you and all the best.